Okay, you are back here again once more with the Diabetic Dad. Today we're going to be making some tater tots, everyone's favorite snack, whether it's with eggs in the morning, whether it's with some chicken nuggets at dinner or lunch. I should say it's going to be tater tots sans the tater. Nothing wrong with potatoes per se, other than the fact that they are a very starchy vegetable. It is otherwise said not very great for your glycemic index, right? It will raise your glucose levels pretty drastically. Carbohydrates fairly high. The starch, again, it gets turned into sugars. And so these are going to be some Cauli-Broccoli tots. All right, so ingredient-wise, what we're going to be doing is we've got a cup full of chopped up broccoli and chopped up cauliflower, both the florets and the stems. We've got a quarter cup of some diced onion. We're going to use a quarter cup of some feta cheese, again, reduced fat. We've got one large egg. We've got a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. The recipe calls for whole wheat breadcrumbs. I wasn't able to find any at the grocery store I went to today, so we're just going to use these gluten-free breadcrumbs. I'll pick some whole wheat ones up tomorrow maybe, and if it seems to be materially different, I'll update you. Otherwise, this recipe is vegetarian, nut-free, and I think we can say gluten-free, at least today. Trying to make something the kids are going to like. I'm throwing it out here right now. They're not going to like this. They're not going to like the color of it, I have to bet. First time for this particular recipe. Over time, hopefully they'll come to enjoy this one. If you had to guess, you probably guessed right. Lori Zanini's Diabetes Cookbook and Meal Plan for the Newly Diagnosed. Just a ton of great recipes in here, most of which I haven't tried yet. So, get used to it. This is where most of our stuff's going to come from. Basically, we've got 1 cup of broccoli, florets, and the stems, and 1 cup of cauliflower in the stems, already chopped up. We're going to put it into one of my favorite utensils here, the food processor. Good thing I know how to use it now. We've got a quarter cup of onion. I just use a yellow onion. I think you can probably use any onion. And then we're going to pulse that up a little bit, get it nice and combined. After that, we've got this large mixing bowl. We're going to crack an egg. We've got some gluten-free breadcrumbs this time. We've got some reduced fat feta cheese. We've got some salt and pepper. Basically, we're just going to make these into little cauliflower and broccoli little balls. We've got our baking tray right here with parchment paper already on it. Throw it in the oven, preheating at 400, 10 minutes. We're going to take it out after 10 minutes. Carefully, as Lori says, carefully flip the little patties over, put them back in for another 10. We'll pull them out. Ideally, we'll have some healthy, nutritious, tater tot-like tots. Hope you enjoy, and we're going to get started. Making sure this goes on the right way. Get it clicked in there. Now, Lori says to pulse this a couple times. You want to pulse until they're chopped well, but still slightly chunky. So we'll see how we do here. I'd say that's still looking slightly chunky, but also pulsed fairly well. So we're gonna run with this and see how it goes. All right, so we're adding our broccoli and cauliflower mixture into the large bowl. Whoop, there goes that. We've got a quarter cup of feta cheese going in, a quarter cup of the breadcrumbs. We've got a half teaspoon of salt. We've got a quarter teaspoon or so of freshly ground black pepper, which I'm just gonna kind of eyeball. It's gonna be difficult for me to measure this out as I'm grinding it as we go. That seems to be about a quarter teaspoon. Then we're gonna add the egg. Excellent. And then it says using your hands, shape some small balls, a little smaller than a tablespoon, and carefully place them on the prepared baking sheet. So we're just gonna mix this up together first. We've got our gloves on. Again, raw egg. Also just the fact that we're touching this food that other people are probably gonna eat. And I'm sure if you wanna use your hands, obviously you would have cleaned them. I'm sure you would have cleaned under your fingernails. I'm sure everything would be perfectly sanitary. I'm choosing to use these gloves because I have them and I find that I prefer using them. And I'm sure it keeps it just a little bit cleaner. All right, so we've been mixing this up for, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so. It's feeling like everything's pretty well mixed together, so I'm ready to start making the balls. So we're just gonna take a little bit, again, a little bit less than a tablespoon, and so a little ball there. We'll show you what they look like on the baking tray after I've got them all situated. Definitely glad that I'm wearing gloves for this one. As you can see, this is a pretty messy mixture. Okay, so here's our tots on the baking tray. The oven has preheated to 400. We're about to go take our tots over to the oven, put them in for 10 minutes, flip them very carefully, put them in for another 10. Just looking at these, they look pretty delicious, right? There's the cheese in there. There is, again, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, broccoli, the cauliflower mixed together, a little bit of breadcrumbs. Maybe whole wheat breadcrumbs would make it taste a little bit better. I'm sure that these gluten-free ones are gonna be just fine though. And so we'll get to taste this in about 20 minutes. Okay, the tots are about to come out of the oven to get gently flipped here in a second. Smell pretty good. Get a little spatula out. You can see why Lori instructs us to do this carefully. They're definitely a little fragile, kind of breaking apart as we do this. And so someone with the level of patience that I have will probably break at least half of them as we're doing it. Might get a fork instead of the spatula. It's a little bit too wide. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. I can tell you right now that feta cheese is going to be the star of this recipe. You can already smell it as it's sticking to my fingers as I flip these tots. All right, there we go. Gonna go back in the oven at 400 for another 10 minutes and we'll pull her out. We'll see you then. Okay, these smell all right. They look not terrible. And so we're gonna let them cool off here for just a second and then we're gonna give a little taste, see how we did. All right, these are probably still too hot to try. Again, no patience. I'm gonna try one, see how we did. Honestly, they've got the texture of a tater tot, right? I'm biased here. I might like them better, frankly. Might have put a little bit too much pepper in. Maybe take it down just 1 or 2 turns next time, but I think these are delicious. They're obviously healthy. We'll see if the kids like them. My guess is probably not because they're green. But, you know, I guess that reminds me, what's the difference between snot and cauliflower? Kids will eat their snot, which also reminds me, if you ever forget your wife's birthday, don't stress, just cauliflower shop. Quick update on the Cauli-Broccoli tots. I think these have been out of the oven for maybe 5-6 minutes. They're already gone. These are phenomenal. I was anticipating using these for dinner tonight to go along with some chicken nugs for the girls. I'm gonna have to make a whole nother batch because these are so good. So A+, Lori, way to go. These are delicious. Till next time.